Hi, welcome to Open Hand Farm. I have been doing a lot of thinking about this whole Every Bit Counts challenge where every day you preserve something. I will say I got a lot of things preserved, but there are 5 things I have learned in doing this challenge. Number 1, it makes a mess. So I love the idea of preserving, but I gotta tell you, my kitchen and dining room area, which is actually kind of in the middle of my living room area, was a mess all month long. Now, it was a productive mess. That's true. But when we did the corn, oh my word, from cutting off corn kernels, there were splashes of sweet corn juice and corn kernels all over the place, in chairs and tables and floors. My daughter's dog loved it. He licked it all up for us, but that was a big thing. Then there were peaches and peach butter. In order to peel the peaches, I put them in hot water and on a pan, then peeled them. It took up the whole kitchen. Then cooking the peach butter, as it got thicker and thicker, it would come up with these volcanic bubbles and splatter on the walls and the stove. It was a mess. Then the same thing happened with my raspberry jam. I had just gotten the peach butter off of everything, and now there was red jam all over everything. The day that I made the fermented garlic, when I peeled all of those garlic bulbs, there were garlic skins all over the place. Somebody would walk through the kitchen and it would just blow them. They were on the floor, they were under cabinets, they were on shelves. It was crazy. Actually, I think I'm still finding them every once in a while. In order to go from one canner to another, I had to just set the canners on the floor. Of course, my grandson didn't mind. He used it as a drum. The number of times I cleaned my stove over that month was incredible. Things would splatter, like I said, or drip, or the spitting from the boiling of the canners would go down and under. And so I used SOS pads more than I ever thought I would, cleaning that stove over and over again. But that's okay. I just wanted you to know that that's the first thing I learned about doing the Every Bit Count challenge. Now, the second thing I learned is that not everything you preserve turns out maybe the way you want it to. I worked so hard to cut tomatoes and take the center seeds out. Then I grilled them. Then I dehydrated them to make fire roasted tomato powder. I ended up with like 2 inches in the bottom of a jar. It took so much time for 2 inches. That's okay. I did it again and it grew. Part of it is you just got to keep at it. And I know that it's only 2 inches, but I also know that that'll go further than I think it will. So that's okay. And let's talk about that corn, that corn that I did not process long enough the first time, but caught it within 24 hours, so was able to reprocess it. The problem was I had processed things all day that day. So here I was at 9 o'clock at night realizing this. So I was up until 1 o'clock waiting for that final depressurization of my canner so that I could take the lid off and take those jars out before I went to bed. It was a long day. Then I made fermented pickles, and instead of doing single little jars, I decided to do my big fermenting jar. I was so excited to have that many pickles. I had bought the cucumbers at a community garden, and I was just excited. I put everything in the jar that was supposed to be in there, put the lid on, put it in my pantry, waited 3 days, and when I took it out, all of the pickles were like mush. I went to pick one up and my finger just went through it. I don't know what happened. I have made those pickles time and time again. And this whole jar was just like mush. It was gross. So, had to throw them out. The chickens were happy, I must say. And I made a second batch of yogurt, but I don't know why. I did it exactly the same way as I did the first batch, but it split while it was heating, and all I had was chunks of yogurt-like stuff around the edges and nothing but liquid in the middle. I don't know what happened, but it didn't work. That did not stop me though. I kept going, and it shouldn't stop you either. So the third thing that I have learned by doing the Every Bit Counts challenge is that you run out of room to put all the cans that you've canned. I know, that's a great problem, isn't it? I started out by putting them on my cutting table in my sewing room, and it just grew and grew. Then the boxes were on the floor, or some of them I just shoved in the pantry until I had time to sort through and figure out where I was going to put everything. In order to find room for everything, we had to go downstairs in our storage / furnace room thing. I don't know what you call it. We had some shelves that we had paint cans on, and Mark took all the paint cans off. Then we had a couple of wire metal shelves that we stored things on from Costco, like toilet paper, paper towels, coffee, canned goods, whatever we buy in bulk. So we moved some of those things over to the shelves the paint cans were on, and still had room over there. So some of my canning went over there, and some of it went on the metal shelves that the Costco stuff was on. But the good thing is we still have room for more. And the fourth thing I've learned from doing the Every Bit Counts challenge, I don't want to open those jars. You guys, that was a lot of work. So like when I think about, I need a quick meal, I could open a jar of that soup. No way! Don't be touching my jars. I at least want to look at them on the shelf for a few months before we start getting into them. Well, honestly, we already have. But you sure get that feeling. After you do all that work, you want something to see for it. And when you open a jar and you eat it, it's gone. But that's okay, because that's what we do it for, so that we can have nutritious, easy, homemade food in an instant. The fifth thing I have learned is I loved it. I grew in my canning abilities, in my dehydrating abilities. The creativity from watching other people's videos and seeing what they were doing was amazing. People were commenting and giving me new recipes to do. I challenged myself in ways that I never did. And I will continue to keep preserving. I won't say every day of every month, but I have preserved some these past few months. and I have plans for things coming up. I want to do some apples big time. I need to do lots more black beans and chili beans and some soups. And oh, guys, it's just ongoing. There's so many things I want to do. Now, I need somebody to come up with a challenge that helps you increase the number of hours you have in your day. Could someone please do that? Well, I guess until they do, I will just have to fit what I can in the days that I have and be blessed with it. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this type of video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment and tell me what other kind of videos you would like to see. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I would love to have you as part of our YouTube family. Until next time, blessings on you and yours.